Can you believe that? Can you believe that? See, this is why you don't have the rookie do the Twitch stuff, because he never gets it right. He never, ever, ever gets it right. But that is besides the point. Tonight, we have a very special guest. And for this very special guest, I must give him a royal, a knightly introduction. So, everyone, bear with me for 1 second as I prepare for an introduction that's worthy of a knight. So, my lords, my ladies, and the rest of Bald Monkey Nation, tonight I have the privilege, nay, the pleasure, of introducing you, a champion for hire, a chivalrous warrior in the kingdoms of Action Wrestling, Paradigm Pro, Generation Championship Wrestling, and many others. Hailing from Winterham of the Virgin Queen State of Virginia, without further ado, I give to you the one, the only, Sir Knight Merrik Donovan! Sir, thank you for joining us. Huzzah! Huzzah! Let's get some huzzahs in the chat, everybody. Come on. Merrik, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hopefully, I gave the introduction, your introduction, as good as it could have been through our Twitch channel. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, thanks for joining us tonight on the Captain's Quarters. Everybody in the chat, make sure you get some questions in. Val will be taking questions in the chat that we'll get to ask Merrik later on tonight. So, Merrik, what we all want to know, and we're going to go back. We're going to go back to when you were a little knight in training. Not wrestling training yet, but just what was young Merrik Donovan like growing up as a kid? Nice. Now, you said 3-sport athlete. I'm assuming that one of them was wrestling, and the other two were. They still can't. What? Ay, 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 ay. Okay, how about now?
Huzzah.
I think we're good now. Ay, ay, ay. I'm telling you.
It's okay.
I'm telling you.
Technology
Merrik,
has its own mind.
I apologize. I should be put on the guillotine for this. Vic said that did it. You know, when you got to unmute two different things and you never do this, it's really a
Yeah.
pain in the ass. It's a royal pain in the ass.
Well, no. I can completely understand that. So it's okay. I'll keep the executioner away from you from now, and we'll make sure that you'll be okay. You know, gallows get a little rough after a while.
Bless you, sir. Bless you. So we're gonna start again, and I'm gonna ask that
Okay.
question again, even though you already answered it to me. But what was a young Merrik Donovan like?
Okay. So growing up, I come from very humble beginnings in Virginia. Small town, not a lot. Until recently, we were just a one flashing light town. Now we have 2 stoplights. We're
Ooh.
moving up. Um, I was an only child, so just it was just me and my parents just enjoying life, understanding what's of the world and what's going on with the world. I was a three-sport athlete. I just really enjoy um, just competition, playing sports, being active. I never stood still, but I was a good child. But I just never stood still, and that's really was me. Just being active, having fun, and trying to understand what the world was around me.
You never got into too much trouble as a kid?
Uh, so the worst thing that I did as a kid was I got in trouble for dancing on the bus. Every time the bus would stop, I would dance on the bus, and I got in trouble for it.
In
I
your seat or in the aisle?
in the aisle, sometimes I like to play as a gesture and just like have everybody look at me and have fun. So, you know,
I get it. I get
yeah,
and as a youngin, you weren't quite knighted yet, so it's expected,
no, no, I was, a royal dunce at times. So,
as we
yeah,
all are.
yeah, of course.
So,
um,
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, that was it.
Now you mentioned sports, 3 sports. Like I said before I unmuted you, I'm assuming
Yes,
that one of those sports was wrestling. What were
yes.
the other 2 sports?
The other two sports was soccer. That was actually my first sport was playing soccer. And then my second sport was football. Um, well, that was in high school. Those were on two different seasons, but
Mhm.
growing up younger, it was at the same time. So I was stayed with soccer for a while. Then I moved on to football for a little bit. Then I went back to soccer. And 1 year actually of high school, I was a track athlete too. So I just whatever I could just to be active, I was active.
Now, do you feel a lot of kids, and I would say probably especially boys, their first
Mhm.
sport to play is soccer?
Um, well, where I'm from, a lot of kids' first sports are football,
Mm,
or baseball. It's one of the two. Um, but I feel like soccer, it's an easier sport to play, and especially as a young child, all you want to do is run around and just kick things. So soccer is a very easy sport to play with as far as your motor mechanics.
mhm,
Um, Football is a little bit more strategic, knowing how to tackle, standing still for like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, then running, then stopping again. So soccer is a lot easier for younger children to play. But yeah, where I'm from, football was usually your first sport. Um,
gotcha.
so I
Yeah,
was one of
you
the special
usually
ones.
yeah, when I grew up, I started playing soccer and I started playing baseball. Those were my 2 sports that I grew up playing, and I remember, man, I hated every minute of playing soccer.
Yeah.
That's probably due to the fact that I hated to actually run around. So, and
uh,
I was
it,
not good enough to actually be a goalie. So I didn't have the luxury just to kind of, not saying that soccer goalies just stand there, but as a kid,
right.
a
No, I
lot of the
understand.
times they do just kind of stand
Yeah.
there.
My actual second coming back into soccer after football, I was a goalie, and in my freshman year of high school, I was a goalie as well. So I played everywhere. I played every position growing up. Goalie was fun. My last season of rec league or little league, no one actually scored on me. I was like, no, I nothing got past me. So
Oh
that was
wow,
a fun achievement for myself, and we won the championship and everything. But that was a fun achievement.
nice.
Yeah.
So not getting into too much trouble. Little bit of dancing on the bus. 3 sport athlete with a
Yeah.
little bit of track thrown in there. Now, I
Mhm.
I send our research department out. We always like to do a little bit of research on everybody that we interview. One of the
Okay.
things that came out in the interview, I thought 2 of them were one was is definitely very important to note, and the other one is a question. Your background in drama. How
Yes.
how
Oh,
did
wow.
how
That's
did you get into that? Like, were you in plays? Like, what plays were you in? Like, what prompted your interest in the drama club?
so, wow. You
I
did
know
really
we're
good
pulling
research on that.
we pull everything out of everywhere, Merrick. Come on.
Oh, okay. Wow. So, I actually did 2 years of drama. my seventh grade and eighth grade year, I've always loved to be the center of attention. I guess as being the only child, and I enjoy acting and just the spotlight and doing what I can to be a good center of attention grabber.
Hmm.
Actually, the first year that I ever did it, I was not asked to join, so I was kind of bummed about that. But they needed people for whatever play that they were doing, so they brought me back in. And I'm trying to think what the play was. It had to do with like toys or like superheroes because I remember I was Batman or something.
Okay.
And funny story, so I actually had old SmackDown Tag Team Championship, and that was my utility belt for a little while as Batman. But I think
With the big plaque right in the middle and everything.
yes, but like I used some electric tape just, to cover the W's and everything, so at least it looked like black and gold. My dad, however, he did buy me an actual like Batman utility belt, and but I did that
All
for
right.
2 years, and it was okay. Uh, it kind of helped me to break a little bit of my shyness that I do have.
Hmm.
But it was just for what I think one competition, one semester. It wasn't very long at all. It
Okay.
never moved on to anything in high school because we didn't have a theater class that did plays and everything. So it was just something. I guess it was in a way it was me training for wrestling before I even got into wrestling. So it was a fun experience.
I was gonna say, does I mean, even though it's just a small bit of a background in it, does that did that really help you in like your character development and how you speak during promos, and how you interact with the crowds at wrestling events?
Um, I I'm not sure. I don't really think it did too much because, like I said, it was a club. It was a club, and it wasn't very strenuous. It really wasn't taken too seriously, not from me, but like from like the coaching staff and like all the other kids. So it was just something for us to do, so we weren't, just at home doing homework all the time.
Yep.
Uh, but it probably helped in some ways of me, like I said, like getting over some of the shyness that I had because like I barely talked when I was younger, so it just helped to like open me up more and more to where I am now, where I'm far more open than I used to be. So I'm very appreciative of the experience that it did, maybe help unlock a little door that was there.
Nice. So now the other thing that I saw from
Mhm.
our research team was that when you went on to college, you actually had an academic full ride.
Yes.
Plus,
Yes.
plus you also had some sports scholarships out there, but you chose the academic one.
Yes. Wow, y'all. Okay. So
You
I
didn't know
had
that we brought it like this, did you?
yeah, I had no idea to be honest with
N-
you. That wow, that was crazy.
See now
So yes,
sometimes the research department works well. And we will
yeah.
probably find out later in this interview that the research department doesn't do well and we will have to fire them again.
No, so okay, so yeah, like I did have a full academic ride. Um, what happened was I went to it was like a college fair, but it was like a special one where you could just do your application in front of the people and they'll tell you on the spot if you're accepted or not.
Hmm.
The college that I eventually went to was there. I wrote out the application. They said I was accepted. I was like, cool, that's awesome. And later on, I was actually training for wrestling as far as like high school amateur style wrestling because I was going into states that week. And my mom came to the school and she was like, I have something for you. And I was like, what? And I looked and it was a letter stating that I have a full academic ride. I'm on presidential scholarship. And so, yeah, and it was a private institution so it was a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
It was, yeah. So I was like, oh wow, this is awesome. So it was that. But what I ended up doing was I used that. I actually had two scholarships for wrestling to NAIA schools.
Mhm.
One was in Forest City, Iowa. The other one was in Oklahoma. And I had to use the fact that I had a full ride to see if I could, get more money from them for the wrestling, and they couldn't, they couldn't honor it. Plus the fact that I wasn't a state champion. So I was like, okay, well, thank you for your time. Unfortunately, because that was the main goal and dream, was to go to college for wrestling. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that. But I did have an academic full ride, so I'm debt free. So I think I'd rather take the debt free part versus the 4 years of more wear and tear on my body from wrestling. So I'm actually glad kind of I took it. So,
Yeah, I went to a private school myself for college, and I
okay.
know what I paid back then, and to see what the kids are paying now,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
insane,
It's
insane.
ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous.
So now, did you also wrestle when you were at college, or did you just like concentrate on the academic side of things?
Well, my freshman year, I was trying to find a wrestling team. I tried to go see if I could make one at the school that I was at, a club, intramurals or something like that. But they were stating how much money it was going to be, and it was just too much for them. And I was like, well, okay. The college I did go to, St. Augustine's University in Raleigh, we're right beside NC State.
Mm,
So what I tried to do was join the club at NC State, but I couldn't find the right people to ask the right questions. So I had to just take a back seat and just worry about academics instead of trying to wrestle any longer. However, whenever I went back home for winter break, I always helped volunteer coach the team that I used to be a part of in high school. But later on, that took a different road that I'm kind of proud about. I ended up becoming a head coach at 22 for a varsity team at another school, and that worked out for a while. So it was all worth the time. Yeah.
good, yeah. Oh, when I heard that, I was like, that. I mean, that's it's something that you don't always hear
Right.
about people in general. That that they are a standout athlete, but at the same time, they're also a standout on the academic side. And to have that be something that's in your pocket that you can go back to is got to be great, and proud for you, proud for your parents too. You
Yeah.
know, to have that,
Yeah.
and no debt, no debt.
Yeah. No debt. Yeah. Honestly, when I told my mom of what I wanted to do as far as with wrestling and everything, she was like, well, you already graduated, you have your degree, so go ahead, do whatever you want to do. And I was like, all right, cool. So I had no problem with that. But yeah, my mom preached academics a lot. So I was always, working on grades, stuff like that. I would get scolded if I had a C. I can count on one hand how many C's I had all the way through college. So yeah, it was something that I made sure I always did and took part of, and it wasn't too bad because I was one of those students that could just understand knowledge really easily, write it down, and I'll have it for a while, and then as soon as I didn't need it anymore, I'll throw it away.
Yeah,
So and small class sizes, so I could always talk to the teachers if something was going on. Because there was one time during wrestling season where I had like a 36F in trigonometry, and I was like, "Hey, wrestling season's almost over with, so once that's over, I'll do better." And I did, and my grades went up automatically as soon as wrestling season was done. Because it was my senior year, and my main focus was just trying to grab the brass ring, if you will. And I didn't, unfortunately, but I did get my grades up, and everything worked out for the best. So
nice.
yeah.
Now, did you have a favorite class or subject in like high school and college?
Trying to think. Well, I definitely had a favorite class in college. Um, it was anything that dealt with this certain professor that I had, intro to psychology or sex, gender, and behavior. Anything just that's just deals with just the mind and stuff like that. Because my degree is in psychology with a concentration in clinical counseling. So anything like that was fun and amazing. In high school, uh, I can't think of one off the top of my head. They're all the same to me. I guess it would be history. I had a dual enrollment college course with this one teacher, and he was just fun to always be around. So it really wasn't the subjects for me; it was just the teachers, and if I could connect with them well.
Yep.
Um, and well, actually, I had two. I had another um, mentor to me that was in high school that was actually really fun in his classes too. It was government class, but he was just really down to earth, and he worked with you very well. So yeah, it was those two. They were cool people. So
Nice.
yeah.
Now, growing up, did you was there someone that had like a great influence or impact on your life, before this is all before you even step into a wrestling ring, a
Right.
professional wrestling ring?
Uh, if anything, of course, it's your mom, because your mom's always there and she always makes sure everything is good for you. Um, it's either my mother or my grandmother. They've just always been really supportive of me. They hate that I do combat sports, wrestling and wrestling. They just they hate it. They will not watch it at all. But they've always been supportive as far as like if a male influence. It was the government teacher I had. He actually created we had a club called Men of Honor in high school, and it just it helped bring all the young men together, learn how to tie ties, learn to be good gentlemen. Forgot the word there. um,
Exemplary,
yeah,
would that be
exemplary.
it?
Thank you. Yeah, it's exemplary. Exemplary gentlemen. Just personable, uh, hardworking, and just just upkeep as how a man should be as growing up. So that was really really cool to be a part of and be around. And he plays a large part in like um, my younger years of development. And then I had another one in college who almost again the psychology professor who was also my dean,
Mhm.
who helped out a lot too with my college years and more adulthood speaking to. So I always had, you had your years where somebody was there and just helped you step up to be and you're growing in your development, and then one person was there and then the next person. So I feel like life always has its stairs of people. People have their seasons and their reasons for being in your life.
Mhm.
And I definitely had a different group for each reason and season of my life. And I'm thankful for each one for what they've taught me.
Nice. So you're pretty busy.
Yeah,
Academics, athletics, you know, what were you a wrestling fan growing up? Were you watching stuff on TV?
right. Um, so again, like what I said, my mom hates combat sports.
Now, before you answered it, you kind of touched on it before, but your family is supportive
Yes.
of you. They might not like it,
Yeah.
but they're supportive.
Yeah, I actually sent my dad today. Like my dad was calling me all this weekend. I was doing shows all weekend. And he was just talking to me about like the shows and like what I'm doing. And I sent him one of my matches. He's like, "Oh, that was good." So he's, everybody starts off when they're younger in wrestling, and then at one point in their life they just move on from it. They lose that connection. And I guess I help him to like develop that connection. He's always loved me playing sports. He was always there for me with sports and everything like that. Not that he wasn't there for other things, but he was always
Yeah,
there for my sports and athletics, and he just enjoys seeing me, do that. But yeah, my mom didn't really like me watching wrestling when I was younger. But of course, I had a TV in my room, so I would sneak it on and watch something here and there. And
as we all did.
before, yeah, before cable had its global takeover of the wrestling, you would have your local channels that would actually play wrestling on the TV that you can actually watch for free. And my first memory of wrestling, I believe it was WCW. Can't say if I'm right or wrong, to be completely honest with you. It was Booker T and Gold Dust, and they were a tag team. And I believe in Gold Dust, I believe hit the electric. Um, box, and like there was like sparks and everything flying, and that's my earliest memory of wrestling. And then after that it was definitely John Cena and Dr. Thugonomics in his rap battle with Kurt Angle and Big Show. It was the
Yep.
one where Big Show had like diarrhea and he had to run out the ring during the the rap battle. That was my pull in. So Dr. Thugonomics was one of my bigger like pull ins to wrestling to like interest me. So yeah, those are
Nice.
my earliest memories. Yeah.
Now, was Cena one of your favorites? Did you have other people that, you were a fan of?
Mhm. Uh, Dr. Thugonomics was my favorite, younger and growing up. I also really, when I found TNA, when it used to be, I don't even know the channel, but it used to be a channel where they like, it was like, I want to say 2005, 2004, where they used to have like who was having the match and everything was on the top of the screen with the time limit and
Mhm.
everything. um, the charismatic enigma Jeff Hardy on there was he pulled me in. So I had my favorites throughout the different networks or brands. But John Cena was my early favorite as far as pulling me in because just the rapping and just his persona was different in a way. It just drew you in because you just felt something by it. I guess it was that and his ruthless aggression as well.
Yep.
So, but Jim with Jeff, it was just he was different. Like he caught your eye, his movements, the face paint, like how he decided to be weird in a sense. It was like, oh wow, like what's this guy gonna do? And it was just it's their characters that really pull me in versus their moves. The moves, yes, it does pull me in, but like just who they were, stepping forth to the ring and in the ring was just what really, caught my eye all the time.
Yeah. Now you mentioned earlier
Mhm.
that you were a head wrestling coach at a
Yes.
very young age.
Yes.
So how did that happen for you? And what was the biggest thing you took away from that opportunity?
Oh man. So how did that well, okay. In high school, I was a four-time, well, not four-time, but I participated in wrestling for 4 years. My senior year was my most successful year. I was first in everything but states. I got a little headstrong and I decided, oh, I'm gonna, this guy's not gonna do anything. And I end up losing the guy that ended up winning. I beat the week before actually,
Oh,
and after that, he became a three-time state champion. So I was one of the last ones to beat him. So it's
nice.
like, "Oh, okay, I'll take that."
Yeah.
So and then I would always come back home to like, train and help train and volunteer. And one of my old head coaches in high school went to the other school in the district, and when he finally was moving, he was like, hey, like, I know that, you're about to graduate and you want to work in the school systems and you want to be, you like wrestling and stuff. Would you like to coach? And I was like, sure, like I'll help out and see what happens. So I did the interview process. The old coach that used to be there while I was there in high school, he was still there, but he was on his way out as well. And so he talked to me and what I wanted to do and everything like that. And it lo and behold, I just ended up becoming the head coach, at 22, which was awesome. And the assistant coach at the time actually was somebody that I wrestled in high school, and he always beat me. So it was really interesting too that like I was like, oh well, I'm ahead of you now, haha.
Yeah.
But and then we actually wrestled later on at a tournament. He still beat me, unfortunately. But it was, it kept a little rivalry within ourselves as coaches. But it was nothing bad. There was no bad blood between us, hopefully. But uh, one thing I really took from it was just to have confidence in myself. Because I know what I'm doing. I know how to coach. I I have the skills and the tools within my 2 years because I only did it for 2 years before I moved and started this wrestling journey. Um, I had two kids win regionals. I had in total 9 kids go to state within 2 years of being there. So I knew what I was doing and I knew what I was creating for that place. I wish. sometimes I wish I had stayed. But I there was something I needed to do for myself, which was, wrestling. I needed to participate and do that for my own self versus just sitting still forever. And I was close to home. I was living home. They always say move away from home and experience life. So I did that, and I'm thankful for it. But later on down the line, when I'm done fighting in the fray, and I want to just go do what I actually, my secondary goal in life is to do. I do want to go back to coaching. It's fun just working with the youth and like helping them to achieve goals that they want to do. It's always fun. So.
Yeah, that story completely resonates with me because I had a similar thing happen to me when I was in college. I was
Hmm.
heavily in the music program. I graduated, and the director of the university asked me if I wanted to come back and be his graduate assistant.
Okay.
So, and I got free grad school. So I was
Nice.
like, "So you're saying I get free school and I can still be in the band, like work with the band?" Yep. I said, "Okay, sign me up. Sounds good." And then the next year he decided to leave. He went to the of Connecticut where he got his degree from to take an assistant job there.
Nice.
And then I was by myself. Vic, thank
Oh,
you for the bits. At 23, I was running a college marching band program by
oh,
myself.
that's crazy. That sounds amazing though. Like I would love the challenge.
it it was,
Yeah.
and but I'm so glad that it happened to me.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome though. That's completely awesome. Oh, but I forgot about this.
Ooh,
Like one thing I was able to also do for those kids was just to show them like there's more than where they're from too. And because again, like I believe in like moving around and like just expanding on life. I was able to like take them different places and just experience like the simplest thing to experience was just new food. Like, hey, try this place out. And they'll just be like, wow, this is real. Like um yeah, it was
I thought
awesome.
this was just on TV.
Exactly. And then I always wanted to always show the kids different styles too. So one of the things I always did was like I went back to Virginia. The school is in Virginia. I always tried to go as far east as I could and then as far west as I could.
Okay.
To just say, okay, there's different styles on this side, this side. Y'all need to see everything before we get to states. So I did that, and they really appreciated it. The school system did not, because of funds and everything like that. I remember, yeah. Oh gosh, I remember
All
one
about the
time.
money.
Of course, I remember one time we were gonna go to the tip of Virginia, and because I went and when I was in high school, so I was like, oh, we can definitely do this. Like I had talked to the coach. Coach was cool. My AD was cool with it, everything, and so I was like, oh man, like some of these kids, it's hard for them to like get to the school bus in time to like make it to go out. And I talked to my mom about it. And my mom was like, "Well, I'll help you out." So my mom helped me as far as like getting hotel rooms for the kids,
That's
so that
awesome.
we can, yeah, so we can at least go out there and stay, and then the kids can experience this for themselves. Unfortunately, it also meant that they had to pay the bus driver a little bit extra. So one of my matches I had to cancel later on in the year because we over expenses. So it was a great experience. I can't wait to do it again and figure out how to do it a little bit better as far as funding. But it was awesome. So
Nice.
yeah.
So after all that,
Hmm.
you're in Virginia.
Yes.
You decide that you're going to be a professional wrestler,
Yes.
and you move, I believe, down to Florida.
Yes.
The decision to leave the everyday world, let's say, and
Hmm.
then get into wrestling. What was that decision like? What were you weighing, and then where did you decide to train down in Florida?
So it's in a way it's a funny story, but it's like a coming to realism of who I am story. Um, Well, I was dating somebody for what, 3 years, and it was some stuff happened, so it off on, and then you once you find out like you really want to be with a person, you give your all to them, but then if something's to happen like heartbreak, then that's when you make decisions for yourself.
Yeah.
So. what ended up happening was we broke up, and I was like, well, I need to do something for myself. Like I need to figure out what I wanted to do. And at that time, I had just started watching wrestling again, like more passionately, ROH. And so another person that really was just my final kick and final push was Leo Rush. He was my final kick, final push because at that time I was 23. He was 22 because he's a year behind me. And I'm watching him and I'm like, well, if he can do it at this young age, I can do it as well. Because, like they would talk about wrestlers, but they would never talk about their age. But for him, his main tagline at that time was his age. This was before WWE. This was just when he won the top prospect tournament for ROH against Punisher Martinez. And I was like, okay, cool. He's young. I'm young. I'm gonna go do this. So what I did my research, and I was between MCW, Maryland Championship Wrestling, where he went to. So I was like, well, I'll definitely get the one up, and I'll get to work with him coming from there.
Mm.
Or there was a place that's now defunct in Virginia, Ground Zero Wrestling, and it was between those two options, because I honestly had no idea what to look for. I had nobody close around me. No, I hadn't talked to any wrestlers about this. I've only gone to two events maybe as far as wrestling goes in my whole life, two or three. So I'm like, well, I don't know where to look, where to do about anything.
Yeah.
So I had just those two options. And there was a friend that I had because this was during GroupMe, when GroupMe was a very large application for group messaging. I was talking to this one individual, and she was like, "Go to Devon School in Florida," and I was like, "Okay." And then what happened was, which I see this as like a diamond in the rough situation. At the time, they were just coming back, and or it was they were just coming back or something. It was like a WrestleMania um was it promotion or something. I'm not sure completely, but it was for $999 you get full year's worth of tuition free. I mean,
Oh
well,
wow.
not free, but you pay for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the
yeah.
one tuition with that. And I was like, okay, I'm signed. Like, so I signed up and I did that because I had money saved up from at the time I was substitute teaching. Before then, I was doing something else, which I was getting money regularly, but I was substitute teaching. So I was like, all right, I had all my money saved up. I paid for that. I gave him an extra dollar because, like, you know what? Why not? I'll give you 1,000. Instead of 999, here's tax. So I did that and I moved down, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm enjoying Florida. And I trained at Team 3D Wrestling Academy, which is now Devon Dudley Academy. And we used to be in an area called Kissimmee, or Florida, for I think they were there for 13, 14 years. It might be maybe 13, 14, 15, I'm not sure completely, but now we're in Winter Park. So if anybody's looking, shameless tag for my school.
Shameless plug if
But
you're in the Winter Park area, or if you just want to move to Florida and you want to
yes,
become a wrestler. There you go.
it's a great experience. I'm very thankful for everything that I learned at school. It's a great school, and great minds, everything. So I'm very thankful.
Now, best part and worst part of training.
So the best, we'll start with the worst. The worst part of training is at the time when I first moved down here, our training schedule was Monday through Thursday, and we started at 11 a.m. Yeah, we started at 11 a.m. Yes, we started at 11 a.m. and we weren't done with beginners class until 6. And then after that, we would have a break and have advanced class from 7 till 9, maybe 10 at night. So yeah, like at that time, yes. So
How, how are you supposed to work?
um wrestling is a full
Yeah.
investment. So we learn quickly, like you have to find a way to work around wrestling.
Yeah.
So another thing about me is when I moved down here, I had nothing planned out. I had no place to stay. I had no job, nothing. So I'm coming down here to wrestle. That was
Completely carefree and gonna
completely.
figure it out.
Yes, like, I didn't bring down my TV or my, like, video games because I was like, "I don't need to be comfortable until I find a job and I find a place to stay." So, for the first month, I think, I had a person that came down with me because they had, Florida dreams as well. Um, for, like, I believe it was the first month, month and a half, we lived in and out of hotels. Um, I actually have a vlog up. I stopped vlogging, but I was going to start doing a vlog where it describes everything. And it's funny, I think I still have the video. There was one hotel that we stayed in. It was supposed to be really cheap for the week. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be great. We can save some money because we were staying in like some nicer ones. We can save some money. Like, I go inside and I look around. I was like, all right, we wanted two beds, but it was only like one bed. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just sleep in a chair. I don't care. I'm a very hard nosed kid. Um, and TV, tried to turn the TV on, TV didn't work. And I was like, all right, so let me just go tell them, hey, TV doesn't work, guys. They're like, we'll fix it over time. I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. So I went to work. I'll get back to that in a second. I went to work and I picked them up from their job, and then we went back to the room, and we're at the room, and like they're laying down, and they put their hand like in inside like the covers and stuff, and like I believe I don't know what type, but she said she found a roach. I don't know if it was a weed roach or if it's like yeah an actual bud one,
Yeah.
but and then I was looking around and I just see roaches, like actual live roaches, like crawling on the walls, like all of the stuff. And we're like, yeah, we're out. So like at the middle of the night, we just pick up everything and we just leave and we go back to another hotel. So that was one of the more shocking experiences of moving down here. But the job, as far as job wise, I ended up working at Medieval Times. Um, at the time of yeah, I know. It just
It
I
fit. It's like, that's a
it fit.
perfect fit.
Yeah, I had no idea of just my lineage until like after I got there and I did ancestry and I found out, about what I found out. But I my trainer, who is Dan Carr, if you know who Dan Carr is, he's really popular in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania and stuff. He's known for arm wrestling and he's actually the creator of American Gladiator. Um, yeah, American Gladiator, the show. His grandson worked there and he was like, well, my grandson works down the road because we used to be right there beside the castle. He was like, he's down the road, you should apply. So I applied, and within a week and a half I was working there. And it's crazy because I've been there for 4 years, because I've been here for 4 years. When I first applied, it was literally I don't even know if I even had a resume at the time, but I did the application. I met with the head knight, did the application in front of him. He asked me questions on the spot. All right, you're hired. We're just gonna go and background check and drug test. And I'm just like, okay, cool. That was fast. But now like it takes a month now to like even hire somebody for the same position that I started off with.
Oh, wow.
So it's crazy like how much everything has changed within 4 years. Because had it been like that 4 years ago, I probably would not even be there because I needed cash soon and I was
Yeah.
running out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but yeah, the hardest part about training was like that time because you had to wake up, get there, work out. We for that from 11 to 12 was just warming up, and then from 12 to 3 was just all muscular and endurance training. MEs is what we call them. Um, and that those were excruciating to begin with, but now they're not as bad. um it's fun to see because they've changed a lot, especially where we've moved now, because there's not enough space and not enough time, because we've changed down the hours from that long block of time to like it's been a while since I've been. I think it's three or four they come in until like 8, so it's a way smaller amount of time than it used to be.
Yeah.
And the best part was I feel like the best part in a way was those MEs, because when you finally stop like, dying or gassing out or being blown from the sheer fact of how much you're doing. You're you have so much, you've achieved so much, because like when you finally you're standing tall and like now I'll do them and people actually tell me like it's scary to watch me do them because I'll be laughing and talking and giggling and like just having a good time, or
Not even
like
out of
I'll be,
breath or anything.
yeah, or I'll be completely zoned out. And people are like, you're scary to watch. And I'm like, well, once you figure out how to do it and you have fun, it's a completely different atmosphere in there. And they're only built to build you and make you a better wrestler at the end of the day. So that was one of the best parts for me, was just to see the development within myself by doing the Emmys every day. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So now character development.
Yes.
You touched on that. You work at medieval times,
Yes.
and I think I saw a video or something of you riding a horse.
Yes.
And I was like, well, that's pretty damn cool.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned your lineage. You did a little bit of stuff on ancestry. Is that how you chose the gimmick of Sir Knight?
So, what happened was I did ancestry.com, and what I found was like I have some descendants from like North Africa, and which North Africa is deals with the Moorish Empire, because a lot of that area is the Moorish area, where the Moors are from. In a piece of the Moors were the African Berber tribe, which are people from southern or middle Africa that went up. That was a tribe that were actually knights and people that fought within the Moorish Empire and the kingdom and like conquesting. So that was pretty interesting. But I just found that out like what last
Okay.
year I believe. But before then, um, I went completely blank. So before then, like I just working at the castle, and I'm actually a knight there. So I do the combat, more combat stuff. uh uh
The thing
which
that your mom doesn't like you to do.
Yes, exactly. She liked that though, which is surprising, but she did like me, working and riding the horses. Um the, you hear a lot of people, you hear is like there's no such thing as black knights. People don't believe that there are any, because I guess of just how in not culture, but like how in the media you don't really see it a lot. It's not very depicted or
Mhm.
shown. So everybody's like, well, there's no such thing as black knights. But then I did my own research before I found out about my own self. There were the Moorish Empire, and I was like, oh wow. So that helped to like help me out, because another thing is too, like at work we have to wear like it's a hood, but it's like a headdress. It's supposed to be like the headdress that they used to wear for the chainmail. And
Okay.
I'm technically not allowed to like not wear it because of my hair, because your hair is supposed to go down and you're not supposed to have like any, newer hairstyles. And I have all this shaved off on this side. And I was looking up, I was like, well, there had to be afros with like nice with afros in the medieval times. And I found one, and like there's actual pictures of like knights with like afros from that area, that the Spanish Moorish area, I guess mulatto mix. So it was really interesting also to find that too. It's just a lot that we don't know, and if we just sit down and do the research, we find stuff out. It's like, oh wow, this is really cool. This is really interesting, and it's out there. We just have to find it.
Yeah, I mean, when everybody says knights, the first
Hmm.
thing I think of is Knights of the Round Table
Right,
and all that kind of stuff. You don't realize that this is something that happened all over the world,
right,
to some sort of scale,
right.
you know.
And I I can't think off the top of my head, so I won't say it correctly. But the Knights of the Round Table with one of them, not more, I think Mordred. One of them was actually a Black Knight. When they said that the Black Knight, some of the research that I found, when they were like the Black Knight, they're actually not talking about his armor. He actually was of a Black Knight. So I think it's Mordred. I'm not completely sure, but it starts with an M, because another one of my researches when I was trying to find just looking up stuff, names that start with M. are from the Moorish Empire and stuff like that. So, you know, like Mordred, Merrik, different ones, they all are just, they start with M. So like if you see in that time period names that start with M, there is a chance and opportunity that they are from like the Moorish empire or kingdom from that time period.
Interesting. See,
Yeah.
and all of you in the chat thought you were just gonna come for like some wrestling stuff, and we're getting into history, which is awesome. But I mean, it all of that, you know, builds your character. It builds the mystique of Sir Knight Merrick Donovan. Now, one thing I want to find out about is the flag behind you.
Yes.
What's the symbolism of the sword, the axe, and the chameleon?
Okay. So, well, the sword and the axe, I didn't really do research for that. Whenever you think of medieval, you think of sword. And actually, no, I remember now. So, I work at medieval times. My first fight at medieval times was the axe fight, which is a you have two axes. Well, you technically we have three axes there. We have a small axe, a medium-sized axe, or a regular axe, and then we have an alivard. An alivard is just this really long axe. It's like a pole axe
Mm,
combination.
yep.
Um, but it's technically is an axe, but it's not an axe, but it's an axe. My first fight was axe fight, which was the normal size axe. So my first weapon I ever touched there to do battle was the axe. My second weapon is later on after you know after we're doing the fight and I'm disarmed. I was an espada, which is a smaller sword. So you have no, it's a medium-sized sword. So we have at the castle we have a horseback um, yeah, it's horseback. We don't call anything, but you have a spada and you have a mandubli. A spada is a one-handed sword, and a mandubli is a two-handed sword,
Okay.
or like a two-handed sword. So like a broadsword or a spada, same thing
Right.
around. So the chameleon, I have tattoos. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to incorporate my tattoos with my gimmick and different things like that. So one tattoo that's kind of special to me is my chameleon tattoo because it means versatile. So to me, it means versatile. So like versatility to where I can do any and everything that I need to do. And that, you know, for in the ring, I feel as though I'm very versatile. Like if I need to do ground base, if I need to go high flying, if I need to, you know, technical ground and pound, I can do all of that. So I, you know, I make sure to use the chameleon in a sense of, you know, I'm ever versatile, I'm ever changing, I'm always working. And a subplot to my chameleon and my kingdom is that my king is King Serpentico. And if you know who Serpentico is, Serpentico was AEW Chaos Project. He actually was my trainer at Team 3D. So he's my king, he's my lead. So I'm part of his kingdom in a sense. So like if you look down, so that's another way that I play role. He's king, you know, of the reptiles, and I'm one of his followers.
I
So
like that.
yeah.
Now, the green and the yellow, is there anything behind that?
It's the colors of my hometown football team. So like the colors of my high school are green and yellow, green and gold. So that was the main one that I decided to go with first off was just green and gold because that was something close and near to dear to my heart. Just wrestling in it in high school. There was a guy that I remember that was saying if he wanted to do MMA, he never got to do it. It's like his colors wanted to be green and gold. So I was like, all right, well, I'll pay homage to you because something I like to do it's I don't live completely for myself. I always try and take somebody with me.
Mm,
So I'm always like trying to like give a helping hand and bring somebody up. So there's a lot of things, not just within like what I wear as far as going to the ring, but like what I do in the fray in the ring. It has something of me grabbing somebody and say you're taking this ride along with me. I you know I always cherish the fact like I always have somebody around. Like if you know, like when you watch Pocahontas and like you have all of her ancestors behind her, like talking to her and stuff. Like I think of it like that. So whenever I'm wrestling, like I always have like a group of people around me, like pepping me up and like helping me to say like we're with you, we're on this ride with you. So that's something I like to make sure I always do is just bring somebody with me at all times.
yeah. Now, do you have any swords of your own at home?
I do, but, I leave it in my trunk, so I never forget it. Always keep my bags packed to, for shows. It's in my trunk right now. I actually need to buy another one, because, it's you gotta, always switch it up. But I do have, some broken pieces of weapons, in my closet, but nothing special.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I had to ask because I upstairs in my bedroom put away because I don't have anywhere to put it on a wall in my house. I have like a huge broadsword
Okay.
um
Yeah.
that is sharp as shit.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's sharp.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I've
I
been
wanted I figured you probably had now is the sword that you wear as you walk to the ring a it's a real sword.
yeah, it's a real sword. I was about to say, yeah, that one's a real sword. Like I said, I want to buy another one. The place that I buy all my stuff from, it's they actually have a sword of the month club.
Oh,
And once I start to make a better income or make sure I start saving, I want to start doing that. So then, once I start coming out to the ring, I have different assortments of weapons. So it's not always the same thing. But
yeah.
yes, that one is very much real. Um, it's funny because some people don't think it's real. When I first started, people were like, "Oh, okay, look, that's a real sword." Yeah, it's real. I'm like, "What?" And then some people say like, "Use it while I'm in the match." I'm like, "No, I'm not trying to stab somebody for real." So, but yeah, it's a real one.
Nice. Man, I just had another question and it completely blanked out of my
Uh,
head. Maybe I'll remember it. Oh, now I do. So,
okay.
where do you get your swords?
So it's called medievalcollectibles.com.
Okay.
It's you can buy a whole lot of things if for larpers, if you're a larper, you can buy all your tabarbs, your leather frogs, which is what holds your weapons. The tabar is what I wear going out to the ring, the green one. I have a red one that I don't wear very often, and a black one. They're all from there. um what else do they have? They have shoes, masks, hats. If you want gothic,
The
goth
whole
punk,
thing.
steampunk, they have all of that on there.
Oh, wow.
Renaissance, everything's on there. Yeah,
That's cool.
swords, axe, like everything. So like I'm trying to make another purchase soon, but I just haven't yet. But yeah, I'm
I
trying to collect as much as I can.
Yeah, I had bought a couple of things previously from
Okay,
budk.com. They have a bunch of different things. I loved the Lord of the Rings stuff, and I always
okay.
wanted to get the Ring Wraith's
Hmm.
sword because it's so cool looking. But it was always like 400, $500, and I'm like, I just cannot throw that kind of money down on a sword that's just going to hang on a wall.
Yeah, we have like at medieval, we have like a whole plethora of swords that we have. And it's just like, oh, I want to buy it. And I look at the price tag and I'm like, well, I have a discount. I look at my discount and I'm like, all right, you can just stay there because the discount barely does anything. Like I don't feel like still paying like a whole bunch for something. And like I'm very particular about what swords I use. I'm trying to stay away from any that actually have a theme, that have been seen in the world, because I just it's not who I am,
Yeah,
unless it deals with the Moorish Empire. I'm not really touching it. Like Templar swords or King Arthur swords, or even Irish swords. It's just like I'm not really touching these. It's not who I am. So I try to find stuff that's unique in its own sense, but not too anime, if you will, because
yeah,
I've seen some that are like very anime. I'm like, that's not gonna work.
yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a struggle to discover and find. But once you find stuff, it's really easy, and it's really it's cool to add on to what you have.
Definitely. So let's get out of the ring for a little bit. We talked a
Okay.
lot about wrestling so far. We mixed in some other stuff. So outside of wrestling, we know that you're a knight at medieval times. What else do you like to do? Like if you ever have time off.
Oh goodness. What is that? If I have time off, I'm usually with my significant other, like just trying to spend time with her when I do have time to spend time with her. Um, but if I'm not doing that, I'm probably in my room watching TV. Right now, I've just been watching stuff on YouTube because it's better than paying for cable, and there's a lot out there. And I used to play video games, but I'm not a video game person. I'm good, but I'm very decent, and I will rage quit. I'm not afraid to say that. So I would rather just watch people play on YouTube and call it a day. It's so much easier. But that's basically it. Or I'm a foodie. If I can find food and I have enough money in my pocket, I will find a new restaurant and I will try it. I just food is yeah, food is so there's so much that you can do with food as far as like expressing yourself.
Mhm.
Like one person can have this chili, another person can have this a same chili, but because of the seasoning and the type of produce that they use and stuff, it's a completely different chili. So like just to go out and to experience different foods, just like I was saying earlier with my wrestlers back in the day, like I would show them food because there's so much to food and so many different cultures. And like since moving down here to Florida, I live in just a very Latin based area. So like I there's Venezuelan, Colombian, Peruvian, Puerto Rican foods all over. So I'm just like trying different things, and
Yep.
it's an amazing it's great.
You're
But
getting
after
chicken
huh?
one day, oxtail the next day.
Yes,
Nice.
yes. Like
So
I
go ahead. Go ahead.
it just I have to stay in the gym because of it. But that's basically it. You can go ahead.
What's the go-to place for food when you're on the road?
If I'm on the road, what I try to do, so what I want to do, unfortunately, like I don't get to do this much because I'm always in a car ride with people. So it's or a car load with people. So it's like I have to deal with everybody else and make sure that they're happy.
Yep.
I want to always just go somewhere that's like the staple for that state or that area. So I'm like, all right, I've never been here. So what do they have? Like for instance, when I went to Alabama for the first time, I found out that Milo's is an actual like fast food restaurant, like the Milo's sweet tea. Like I had no idea, and I really wanted to go to it, but I didn't. I couldn't, unfortunately. I was hoping to go after the show, but I was not able to go. So I was kind of bummed. I'm trying to go one day. But yeah, that was interesting. But I will say, if I'm going out of state, one place I have to stop is always Bucky's. It's just cool to go.
I hear that that's like the place to go.
It is, so for me, I feel like the lore to it for me is my favorite part is the bathrooms. Like it makes it's kind of weird to say like you like the bathrooms, but to walk in, so like you walk in and then you take this turn because there's no doors. You just, walk into like the bathroom like any other bathroom, like, okay, cool. And you walk in and it's just this large room with one side is, your male standard bathroom and the other side is your toilets. And it's just like it's clean, it sparkles, like it's so nice. And it's just like this is amazing. Just like, because you think of a rest stop, you're like, all right, something's clogged in here, but like you don't
Broken,
even you
dingy,
broke
dirty.
exactly, but you don't even have that, and it's just spotless everywhere. So it's just really great to see. Um, and then it's like have you ever been to a Bucky's?
No. I
Okay,
I live in Central Pennsylvania, and
okay.
we don't have any of that stuff.
So y'all have yeah, y'all have Wawa, y'all have Sheets, right?
We got in my town, it's the fight between Sheetz and the
Okay,
local place called Rutter's.
okay.
Wawas are like, I think, towards the Philly area,
Uh-huh.
DC, and Pittsburgh, maybe.
Okay, so in a way, it's like a Sheets and a Wawa because like you have your stuff already set out that you just grab and go, and then you also have your made to
Made to
order
order
stuff.
stuff. Yep.
But there's two sections that, and this is a part that really just takes your mind away from everything, where it's like it's a store, it's Walmart. And like they have, yes, like they have all this Bucky's merchandise of just like hats, pillows, blankets, shirts, bibs,
I love
just
it.
all stuffed animals, and then just the Bucky side, and then the other side you have your door ornaments, your car ornaments, your signage for like at your house, rocking chairs, like, and I'm just like, this makes no sense. This is just it's supposed to be a stop and go for
Yeah.
traveling. Like, what is this? But it literally has all of this stuff, and like the convenience store section is rather large as well. And they also have a, I can never remember what it is. It's it's like not taffy, but like it's something brittle. Brittle. It's brittle.
Okay.
They have brittle, and like it's all these different flavors of brittle there too. So it's an amazing experience. But like that's my go-to stop. Gas is always pretty cheap as well. So like that's the main thing. So
Yeah.
I've learned that if I'm going off of I-75, that it's exit 144, and so I'm always like prepared, like, okay, have to make it to exit 144, and like that I can get gas there. And there's another one I can't remember, like going towards Alabama, but the 144 one is going towards Tennessee. But it's always my go-to stop.
Now what are you getting when you go there?
Um, so right now I'm on a diet, so it'll probably be water and some type of fruit. But when I'm not on my diet, it would be a sweet tea because I love sweet tea. I used to be a half and half person, but I've steered away from half and half. Lemonade for a little bit because of the acidity to it.
Mhm.
Um, and my road snacks are sour gummy worms, trolleys, or no, Trolleys or Troy? Well, everybody knows
Yeah, trolleys.
sour,
Yep.
yeah, Trolleys sour gummy worms. That's my ever always go to. A bag of donuts and water, sweet tea. And if it's a long trip and I know I don't want to use the bathroom, I will buy Cool Ranch Doritos, gum, because gum takes away all of the water from your body, so like you don't have to use the bathroom. So I'll
Mhm.
do that, and it helps you to stay awake as well. Chips are dry, so it doesn't put any type of liquid into your body to use the bathroom as well. And I'll drink energy drinks just to stay up, and those are bad for you anyway. So I'm pretty sure they're not good for using the bathroom either. So that way I don't have to use the bathroom until I have to stop. And like that's literally my two plans of action depending upon where I'm going and how far I'm driving.
Nice.
So you always have to have plans.
Oh, definitely. When I travel with my when I travel with my family, it's completely 180 of how I travel when I'm by myself. When I'm by
Yeah.
myself, it's get there as fast as I can. Don't worry about stopping unless I need gas and if I'm
Yep.
really, really hungry, and that's about it. When it's
Right.
with the family, it's like, okay, who's got to go to the bathroom? We're about 45 minutes into the trip, and
Yep.
then a half hour later, does anybody need to use the bathroom? Like,
Mhm.
those, I love them. I love them to death,
Yeah.
but they just slow it down so much.
Of course, of course. And you always just want to get there. Like once you're there, it's like, okay, we're there. You can do whatever you want now. So like even if you're just close, it's like, all right, what do y'all want to do? Because we know where we're at. So
Yep.
it's always a catch 22 to whatever you want to do, whenever it's somebody else with you. So
Now, does this situation happen in wrestling cars when you're traveling like it does for me in my family car, where you're
mhm,
driving, all of a sudden you're not really sure where you are, and
mhm.
then someone goes, "I have to go to the bathroom," and then they're
Uh
like, "Can you just pull off at the next exit?" I don't know what's at the next exit. We could
yeah,
literally be going into a war zone. Like,
right.
ho- does that happen in the wrestling car?
It does. So so it's weird. I enjoy car loads, but sometimes I don't. Like I'm okay with driving by myself sometimes. So like I don't do I'm at a half and half, but it does happen to where like it's like, all right, someone's like, all right, dude, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm like, all right, cool. So like what I'll do is like I'm looking at the signs of like the next stop, and like I'm like, all right, you know what? We're going to a rest stop. You're just gonna have to hold it, or like I'll just have to like find a way to where if it looks like it's a really busy area, I'm like, all right, we'll go here. So like, and that's if it's dark. If it's daytime, it's like, all right, we can just stop wherever we need to go. But if it's dark, it's like we're gonna try and find a travel stop place, dude. Like, I'm sorry,
Yep.
but try to do, what I can.
Now you
So,
mentioned chili before.
hmm
Now, do you have a particular way that you like to have your chili? If you even do like chili.
I haven't really done chili a lot. It was just, that was what popped up in my head. But if I do chili, uh, uh, I know I do like sour cream and cheese with it.
Okay.
Um, I
Are
it just
you strictly you just want meat in the chili, or
uh,
do you sway to go and have some vegetables in there as well?
oh wow. Oh, you're getting exotic. I guess
I'm a foodie. I love to cook.
yeah.
So, I'm
Uh,
always intrigued about how people like their chili,
right.
especially chili, because I make my mom's chili a
Hmm.
lot when it gets to be the cooler months. So
Right.
now we're getting into October, and I got to make my first pot of chili sometime soon.
No, I understand. No, I guess I have to do the meats. I've never really had the vegetables before, so I can't speak on it. So I guess I would try the vegetables. Definitely would try. But yeah, I guess I'll go with the meat. I should have said baked ziti because I know way more about baked ziti than I do about chili. But yeah, like I'll definitely do like the sour cream with the cheese with the extra meat because gotta be hearty and
Yep.
strong bones. But I honestly, like, it's funny because my mom will even say, like, I'm not much of a meat person. I've always been very good with like vegetables and stuff. So like I would eat vegetables if I know it's good. So
Yeah. Now I usually do some type of meat depending on what
Mhm.
I'm feeling. It could be beef, it could be chili, it could be like a beef mix with, some other stuff. But then I always throw in onions, peppers, mushrooms,
Ooh,
and my mom always put kidney beans in it. So
okay.
that's my mix for my chili. Plus I like to make it hot.
Right.
So you got some big spice in it too.
Right. No, dude, I've always been a person for like some heat kickers. I'd stop for a little bit for some health reasons, but now I'm trying to get back into it, and it's just not the same. Like it's even hotter than what it used to be, so I'm kind of bummed about that because I used to could eat like hot stuff, and I'm like, all right, I'm okay, but like now I'm just like, oh, this is way too hot.
There's a
Um,
point. There's a fine line. It's like
yeah.
I like the heat
Hmm.
just so much that like you get that little bit of a bite. You get that little sweat coming on. But
Right.
then all of a sudden, once you go into like one of those bottles of hot sauce where it's like got three X's on it,
Yeah.
skulls and everything, death is literally holding, the sickle on the front of the thing. And it's like, this
Right.
is the hottest thing in the entire world.
Oh my
That's where I
god.
have to draw the line.
Of course. Like
Uh, too
I used
much.
I used to go to like this one bar over here. They do ghost pepper wings. And like I would just do the ghost pepper wings because it was good. And it wasn't too bad, like it wasn't brutal. And I know how to like eat to where it's like how like the horses would just open like their lips all the way up and you just see like the teeth. Like I would just
Yeah.
teeth that wouldn't touch anything. And I knew
Yep.
to like chew, but you like chew around your tongue and not on your tongue.
Hmm.
And you can enjoy the flavor and stuff like that. But like I haven't been there in a while, but like I know now if I probably did, it would probably be too hot. And I'll just sit there just
Yeah.
the
Give
the
me
air
some
sucks.
bread. Give me some milk.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just I'm a heat person, so
Nice. Okay. So music in the
okay.
car. Now I saw your like kind of highlight videos,
Hmm.
and they got some nice rock, metal type music. So,
Yes.
what are you listening to when you're driving?
So I really enjoy metalcore. That's like one of my favorite genres. Because I just enjoy just the changes within the music. So like you'll have your clean vocals
Yep.
and like I like okay, for instance, I really enjoy I'll use their Ginger because it's easier for me to just say off the top of my head Ginger because she'll have her sweet sounding voice vocals and then she'll just turn on her growls and you're
Yep.
just like oh but if you really think about it it's just an ever changing like way of music because it's just one thing and there's another element because I'm into horoscopes, so I'm a Libra, so I believe in balance. So
Okay.
like just that balance of like the clean and to the growls is just really cool. And then I like that in metalcore because you'll have that and then you'll have like your just the music changes, like the beats and stuff like that. I'm a big fan of Bring Me the Horizon, especially for like I call it September Nickel. I forgot how to actually
Yeah.
call the
Yep.
I forgot how to actually
That's a
call
great
the
album. From
yeah,
top to bottom, it's a great album.
of course that one and the one with Crucify Me, I forgot the name of it. I really enjoy that album too. Like that song Crucify Me is one of my favorites because just what they're saying and like there's like if you're like listening but not really paying attention, there's like background like underneath of everything
Yep.
tones where like you're like, oh wait, what did you just say? And it's just so many things that are popping out at you. It's like it's my favorite genre. So I definitely will pick metalcore over a lot of things. Secondarily, second I would pick like rap or hip hop. But just recently I just feel like it's just very stagnant now. Everything's the same to me. So like that's why I always just go to metalcore because it's always changing. There's so many different sounds that it just doesn't seem the same. So I that's mainly what's on. And like it's funny. So like when I first got my first iPhone with iTunes, or Apple Music,
Yep.
it tells you like, oh, who do you pick? What do you want to listen to? And like, I was more rap oriented at the time, so um, it was like it all these songs would be like rap songs, like your new song, like because it makes a playlist for you, your new music mix. And like now, like it's starting to tell like, oh, he's listening to more metalcore. So like it's feeding me these metalcore songs, and like my hip hop songs are starting to weed out. And
Yep.
it's just really funny to like listen to, because there's sometimes I was like at the beginning it'll be hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, and like at the very end I'll get like four metalcore or four metal songs, and then like now it's just like hip hop, metal, 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 and just like one like hip hop song at the end. So it's just it's cool to see like the changes for myself and just like my technology too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's right now it's just metalcore, but just a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Christopher just came in the chat. Chris, thank you for the bits. I hope you are enjoying your trip away wherever you are. I know where you are, but I'm not going to tell everybody. So Chris says, Chris came in the room and said, huzzah, just so you know.
Huzzah. Huzzah, Chris. Huzzah.
Now, now I have to remember my question. Here we go again. I got into one thing and now I forgot my question. And I'm just going to pass by it. I'll remember. We'll come back to it. But
It's all good.
one of the things I wanted to talk about, and outside of wrestling, but kind of ties into wrestling,
Mhm.
is I saw on your social media that you were chosen to be in the Indie Pro 22 game.
Yes.
Is there
Yes.
is there anything that you can tell us about that? How did they choose you? Did they like did you get a call and they said, "Listen, we need a night in this damn game. Will
Yeah.
you please do it, sir?"
uh, they seen me at the last action show, not the one this weekend, but the one last month. I can't really remember. The
Acting
24th.
accordingly?
Yeah, acting accordingly, where I faced Kevin Koo. Um, and they were like, hey, they emailed me and they're like, oh hey, like we are making this video game, it'd be really cool if you can join, I really like your stuff, like. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. And like the guy replied back, it's like, oh wow, this is great, like I didn't like, and it was just, to me it was like, oh, this is awesome, like somebody really likes me. Because one thing I told myself before I started this in what 2017, I was like, I'm not buying any more WWE games, no TNA, well, AEW wasn't even like existing now. I'm not buying any of these games until like I'm in it. So, and like when I say in it, I meant like even if somebody created me in the creative center, it's like I'm not buying any of it. So it's pretty cool now, like that I'm getting put into a game, because it's like, oh wow, if I want to purchase it, I can buy it
Yeah.
because like I haven't played any of those games since 2017. So I'm like, I played 2017 once, just to like play around with like character development. But other than that, like I haven't played it since. So, and I haven't bought one since, or even thought to buy one. So, yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay. Well, I know that a bunch of guys from Action. I mean, I think Landon Hale, I saw
yes.
him post up about it, and I know I at least saw two or three others. I think,
Hmm.
if I remember correctly. that got chosen for it. So that'll be really cool when that all gets started and going and everything. So everybody look out for Indie Pro 22
Yes. On
sometime in
Steam,
2022.
they said November 2022 on Steam. So
Okay.
start getting those Steam accounts up,
There
guys.
you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Now, we were in the car
Mhm,
before. Do you have a wrestling car? Like, if you were to create your wrestling car with
mhm.
people that you're usually traveling with, who would those individuals be?
Wow. I've had a couple of carloads, so I'm trying to think. Cause I'm trying to think. Um, cause I have one carload that's eggplants and I forgot what it was. Eggplants and a mermaid, I think it was. We just named it. It was so okay. So funny story about the eggplant. So okay, we were just talking about just restaurants, which is this random thought that we had about how uh you know men have Hooters, Twin Peaks, and this place in Florida called Wing House that we go to, and just it's about sex appeal. Let's just
Yeah.
say it's about sex appeal. So why is it that women don't have the same thing? So we were going to call it eggplants. And so what it is the men they're serving in like the crop top jerseys.
Okay.
Like we're mainly looking more at like the high school, not the high school. Wow, that's not good. The the college level men, like or like it just depends on like just working out stuff like that, or not working out because everybody's included, and some sweatpants, gray sweatpants because apparently
That's a whole
that's what
thing.
people like. Yeah, so gray sweatpants, even the gray sweatpants, shorts or whatever, and like you have like there's men's night where because like of course there's going to be a lot of women there, so that there would be a men's night so men can drink for free until a certain point in time because we should have, yeah, it should be an equal, it should be exactly the same as Hooters or all these other ones, but opposite. So like yeah, that was our idea of eggplants, and I forgot what it was, eggplants and something, but that was with Robert Martyr, this guy here locally in Florida called Kid Thrasher, and Aspen Rose. And I have another one with I call it Florida because it's the Florida Four that were in SCI Futures: Ron Bass, Eli Knight, Robert Martin, and myself. So that's Florida. And my last one was just this weekend was the Midwest. I was in a Midwest card with the Hornet, Freddie Hudson, and this guy named Loki Have So, and because we were going back and forth different places, so that one was also interesting. But I guess if I was to create a special, oh, and I also have some other. There's some other pieces like some people that got in the carload for once or whatever.
Interchange out, once in a
Yeah,
while.
this guy named Daniel Starling, who's from Florida, who's also from Virginia. So is really cool because like I enjoy, like I really want to do something with Virginia wrestlers because we need to be seen. There's so many of us around. But I feel like I might would have to go with the Florida carload because I know for sure like people would love to see that, and there's so many different styles just within that one carload with myself, Robert Marler, Eli Knight, and Ron Bass Jr. that like you can put us in just all these different types of like matches, and it's going to be a good match wherever you look at it. And uh I guess we would also I would also put Aspen Rose in there. Unfortunately, she'd be squished because I don't have a large SUV, but you always need somebody to simp over, and if you have Aspen in there to simp over, it makes it so much better. So that everybody will be simping for that carload.
Yep.
So oh, that's what it was: eggplants and simp juice. That was the name of that first carload. So. But yeah, definitely. If it was simping for Florida, I think that would be a carload that I feel like everybody would be trying to book or to be a part of.
Nice.
So
I love it. So
yeah.
now you brought us back into the ring. You mentioned some of the shows, you mentioned some of the people.
Hmm.
So we got to talk about a couple of things. We know that you were at SCI.
Hmm.
You were in a match against someone that's in your carload, Robert
Yes.
Martyr,
Yeah.
and Martyr actually won the match by I, I rewatched it again last night, and I could
Yeah.
you had him in a submission,
Hmm.
and he just like flipped over and pinned you.
Yeah.
I,
That
I w-
that's what happens when you're light. But yeah.
yeah. And so, what is it like, wrestling against someone that you are good friends with
Right.
in such a big tournament, as SCI is?
It's honestly is great because it's a feel of comfort um because like this is somebody that I know. This is somebody that I know what they're going to do. So I'm prepared for whatever they're going to pull out to make sure, like, I'm not going to be slighted or, lose. And I was hoping that, pulling out the submission would work, but unfortunately it didn't because, he's an encyclopedia of knowledge. So he
Yes.
just got me with his knowledge at that time. Um, but yeah, but to give honestly to Hoodfoot also in that match, he's another person who I really watch a lot too. Like he's great to watch also. So um uh but it was cool.
So, a couple other matches that you've had recently. Uh, you mentioned
Mhm.
Freddie Hudson before. You wrestled him at Paradigm's fourth anniversary. They know.
Yes.
I won't tell everybody what happened and give it away if they haven't seen it before. But now you and Freddie actually wrestled previously at Grind Time, where you
Yes.
got the win. What was it
Hmm.
like
Yes.
wrestling against Freddie, who is like a Paradigm staple? Like he's a day one Paradigmer.
Right. Well, in a way, it was almost an inverse because I'm not a day one grind time person here in Florida, but I like to think of myself as one of the pillars to help put it really on the map here in Florida. But it was it was awesome because I got to see him in his house, to see him in his lights and with his fans and his crowd. So it was cool to be able to see his nobles cheering him on and to his nobles be booing me and to feel like I'm in the guest house and how am I going to win over his nobles and like to take him out, in front of them. And it was a great experience. It was I like in a way like I was just in awe, just the simple fact that I finally got into Paradigm because I've been working for that for like a year.
Hmm.
So that was cool. And then to be in my eyes, he's the gatekeeper of Paradigm. So to be wrestling the gatekeeper of Paradigm was just
Yeah.
like mind blowing. So I was just like, I was really thrilled and happy when that match was announced and I was giving that opportunity. But yeah, in Florida it was one thing because it was hot. In Illinois it was a little bit cooler, so it was
Yeah.
it was a more ground out tough fight.
And at the end of the match at Paradigm, Freddie actually said, gave you the welcome to
Yeah,
Paradigm handshake. If
yeah,
I believe that's what he said.
he did. Yeah,
So
that's
it was like you kind of got there. So
yeah. It's that place. It just so I found out about this place in December, and like just to watch. I watched during the pandemic and stuff like that, and what they are creating there and what they're known for there. And just when like something's for you, like you just know. And like just watching that place and everything about it, I was just like, I need to be there. I need to be there.
yeah.
And like I felt like finally getting there, it was worth the wait and worth the time. And it was even more special. And then to be told like welcome to Paradigm, it was just like, yes. So that was awesome.
Now that show was regular matches, correct? Now would you want to go into the UWFI side of things, cuz now they have the brand split, they have the red brand and the blue brand. Are you looking to get into that UWFI side?
Yeah, because uh my amateur wrestling background, but also just the Moorish blood within myself that's just like, oh hey, let's get down and dirty because like wrestling goes back for millions, like hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's awesome to, hopefully to be a part of that brand switch and to be both. I would love to be part of both, to be regular matches and to be a part of just the nitty gritty of the UWFI because I've always been interested by just mixed martial arts and just tough tear down fights. So just to be a part of that at a place that I really love, which is Paradigm, would be amazing.
Now, who would you want to have if you had a choice? Who would be your first UWFI match against if you had to pick?
Uh, my first one, I think I would just go all out and just say the Hoodfoot. He's had um he's their staple. Like he's a heavy heat hitter. Like yes, I've had a match with him before, but I would rather just have that singles match with
Yep.
him. There's actually some stuff within my move set that I put in because of him. So like I honestly would like to have it with him or with his other Lost Boys member Chase Holiday. Like I love how he just brings it and just he just goes. He's the Beast King, and what's better than the Beast King versus a Knight? So I would love to just either one of them would be an amazing battle and match in the fray, and I just would love either one.
So Paradigm, I know you guys watch us. Let's get that set up
Yeah.
sometime soon. Now another match I watched was from WWA 4. You had a match against a legend,
Yeah.
AR Fox,
Yeah.
and you made him tap in the match. He tapped out to you. What was what was it the significance of that match with him and like what was the main thing that you came away from it with?
So that was the first time I've ever left Florida and to just see what's out there. It was right after the pandemic. So the pandemic was about to be over and we were about to go back into training.
Mhm.
And I had decided that, I need to, just lose some of my rust and just see what's out there. So I went to WWA 4 and just work with them. And then I was, able to get a match with their liege, their king, which is AR Fox, and just he allowed me to see that there's so much potential within myself. That was like in a way that was my coming to who I am today.
Mm.
And just seeing what I'm able to do and perform, and like he just it was so much fun. It was I seen so much within myself. I my potential was awakened. I was like, uh, and I was just grateful for that match and grateful for the just him wanting to have it with somebody that's from somewhere else. So that was really cool, and like I would love to do it again, especially with what I've learned over the past year. Like I would love to just get that experience. Like I want to go back there, to wrestle again. I haven't been back since it's been a year, but it's a great those are great guys, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Um and it's a family, it's a great atmosphere, and I love that atmosphere.
It's gotta put a little notch in your belt that he chose you to wrestle
Yeah,
at his own place.
yeah,
And you got the
yeah,
W. And you got the
yeah.
W too.
Yeah, it's just it's awesome, like all of that in perspective. It's almost surreal. So
Yeah,
it
right?
was it was amazing. It was an amazing week there too. So I'm so thankful for him and just what he was able to do for me, and what um just what he's seen inside myself before I could see it, and he just opened it and shown that I need to have untapped potential. And like this last year, I feel like I'm finally tapping into it, but like I have so much more.
Mhm.
So it's just it's just, every day is a step, and every match is another notch, but it's another experience that I need to experience, or to establish who I really am, who
Yeah.
really is, Merrick at the end of the day. So I just take every match as an experience that I need. And like, on Pokemon and Digimon, like that EXP after the battle, like that's just, it's me every time. And I'm like trying to level up to the next level. So
Yep.
I'm just really thankful for everything he was able to give me. So,
Now we're gonna get to your future here in a second, but
okay.
I we're a very action wrestling heavy podcast. Matt Matt Griffin has been generous to us all this past year plus that we've been doing this. We've talked to a
Mhm.
lot of the guys. Now that was, I think, one of the first times that I saw you, and I was
Mhm.
like, "Holy shit!" I hadn't even seen you wrestle yet. All you did was come out and walk
Yeah.
to the ring and get in. I was like, I like this guy. I don't even he could be the worst wrestler in the world,
Right.
and I would still like his character and everything.
Thank you.
Now, with wrestling, you were on one of the first, I don't know if it was the first one or the second one of the Next Up shows. You were in triple threat with
Yeah.
Jack Cujo and Dylon.
Yes.
You guys put on such a great match that Matt actually brought you on to the Boogie Nights show,
Right.
and you and Jack had a match on the IWTV, you know, main show for Action.
Mhm.
What was that conversation like with Matt? Like, did it happen right after your match on Next Up? Did it happen like right before the show started?
Right. So what happened was, we had the triple threat. It was the second next up.
Okay.
We had the triple threat, and like we were getting critiques, and then Matt, and I can't remember who else. It might have been Dylan Hale. I'm not completely sure. They're like, "Hey, Jack Cujo, Merrick Donovan, don't change. Like, don't do nothing." It was like, okay. So we're like, all right. So we waited. We finished the show out, and then Matt pulled us to the side and was like, "Hey, like, we've decided we have extra time. We really like what y'all were showing us. We're gonna put you on the main show. So be ready. It'll be, it's this show, that show." I was like, what? Like, I, I I just came just to do the next stop. Like, I just wanted to, have an opportunity to get on IWTV, have people see me. That's really it. But okay, so it goes back to just, always have your bags packed, and opportunity knocks even when you least expect it.
Yep.
So uh yeah, it knocked. We were supposed to actually go on, not Boogie Nights, but the second show. I'm not completely sure which one it was.
Oh yeah.
So
I forget.
yeah,
So many shows.
yeah, it's so many great shows though.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be on the second one. However, if you watched the life of Eric Royal, uh he explains how he's late, and that was actually the show that he was late. He was having transmission issues with the car and stuff like that, so he was late coming to the show. So what ended up happening was, we got moved up from the second show to the first show to help add on some time for him to get there. So not only were we just asked, like, oh hey, you're doing next up, oh hey, you're going to the main show, you'll be on the second one. Now it's like, oh hey, we're having time constraints, so we're going to move your match to like the third match of the first show, like be prepared. And we're just like, wait, this is a lot,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on. So all that happened, and like we still got to experience it. And it was a great experience. Like, it was fun to be around the crowd and just to like hear the crowd, like, just like you were saying, like, I walked out and you're just like, okay. So like, it's cool because like I feel like, just with just my presence and the type of character that I do, and with, honestly, with my work at Medieval Times, I'm able to just learn how to use um non just cues within my body, even, without saying anything or looking some type of way, to show like my aura of like, this is serious, this is who I am, and I'm taking everything I do very seriously. and like the crowd can feel it because like sometimes I'll get a ooh or a what, like uh and like you can tell just by even with the silence of the crowd, you can tell. And like this weekend, I will say like because I flew versus driving, I didn't have like all of my gear that I usually would have. And like I did I came out and like it was silent, and it was a different type of silent. It was like a who are you? Not even just a who are you, but what? Like, cause like it was
Yeah.
just I didn't have, any a pole for my flag. I didn't have like my
Oh.
belt, no sword. Like it was just me. And I'm just like, yeah, I look like Kurt Angle coming out with the American flag, like I'm an American hero. But and
Yeah.
everybody's just kind of like, okay, like wrestler number A, like let's see. But once they actually got to see what I was able to perform and stuff, I definitely opened some eyes. So like it's sometimes accessories do make the outfit. So and I think I found that out this weekend. So I have to find some TSA approved accessories. So
They gotta have like a extension pole or something
yeah, I
that
keep telling myself to look it up, but I keep forgetting to look to find one. So yeah, or at least a wooden one that's like okay, it won't show up on the X-ray. And
true.
yeah, and because I do carry-ons, I don't do stowaways or
Yep.
check-ins. So like yeah, it's funny. So like the bag that everybody talks about,
I saw
um,
it at SCI, man.
yeah,
You could carry a dead body in that thing. It's
I
huge.
it's huge, and I'm so appreciative of it because I found out if I could use it or not this weekend, and I can. It fit
Oh,
on the
nice.
plane, so it's definitely a carry-on bag, and like I need to find a way to like put some TSA approved accessories in that
Yeah.
bag because I know I can fit it. So
I wonder if you could use like PVC pipe and
yeah,
then just get the connections and have them all be like just 12 inches long. Go doot, 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 doot.
yeah, I might have to look into that. I've thought about it, but like I said, I have to sit down. Like I'm one of those like you earlier. I'm always busy, so like I just have to like sit down and actually like take a moment and see what I can and can't do.
Yep. So now everybody in the chat, if you haven't gone on IWTV, go on IWTV, watch some of action stuff, watch some of New South stuff as you've wrestled with them before, watch
Yes,
Paradigm stuff. There's a number of shows on there. You can literally search for Merrick Donovan, and it will come
yes,
up with all his matches there. Now,
yes.
you
It will.
talked about being a chameleon before that SCI match against with Hoodfoot and Martyr, you definitely had to be a chameleon in that one because they're two totally different types of wrestlers.
Yeah,
And then you had Kevin Koo
yeah,
not too long ago, who is he just wants to beat the crap out of people.
yeah.
How was that match?
uh, that that match was it was awesome because like uh, I don't even know how to describe it because it's cool because he would see me at these next up tapings and like we would talk because his style is something that I can pull off of because it's sort of similar to one of my styles that I try to like use. And I actually today I had to ask him a question about how to some things to work on and for training and wrestling in general, even like my body, like I've asked him. So I after the match just to see because it was we again we enjoy like just the sport, like the
Yeah,
aggressiveness of wrestling. So it was cool, like just to actually be with somebody that enjoys just violence. Like I mean, violence is forever. And like he's violence forever, and it's awesome. Like that's one of the things that I truly enjoy of just some wrestling is just the violence of it, the beautiful art that is violent and just going and just I feel like we understood the story, like we understood each other enough to where like we can just do what we needed to do in there
yeah,
and just have a banger of our own type, like even for ourselves, like if no one else seen it as a banger, we ourselves seen it as a banger. And like that was one of like uh that was again one of the step ups as far as like opponent wise that I've had. And like I one thing about me is I'm always inviting the fact of like working with a veteran, because that's so much experience that I can take in that, like, I mean, granted, there's other experience I can take in with other people, but just to work with a veteran and like see what they have and like see what they say and stuff, it's 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 a good feeling. So
Yeah,
I was so thrilled to work with somebody of that style, and to get feedback from them in certain ways, because it was like, this is exactly like, this is somebody that understands what I'm trying to create. So he understands what I'm trying to do. So like, he's what he says to me, what he gives back to me is exactly what I want to hear. So it was a I was I'm happy for that. But that was great. I was so, like, when I got it, I was like, no way. Like, it
yeah.
was it was awesome.
And
So
that was going to be one of my follow-on questions. Was like, did he give you any critiques on the match and everything? And
yeah.
it's awesome that some of the guys that have been around for a while, you know, really take the time, if they have it, to help you guys along, whether it be at a next up, whether it be passing at an event or after a match that you have against one of them.
hmm Yeah, he gave me some critiques about some little things. Honestly, I was way harder on myself than he was on me, and like, once he said what he had to say, which was very little, and it was like, oh, well, I felt way worse than that, like, because I'm not a perfectionist, but I feel it's just like the way I was trained and taught about wrestling. It just makes me feel a certain type of way. So
Yeah,
I definitely was just very, even the little things like just grind my gears to where I'm like, oh, this is not good. This is not good at all. And then like for someone to say, hey man, that was really good, like, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, what? Are you sure? And it's like, yeah, no. It was like, oh, okay, like, because I so I had a match. It was a four-way the week before with some larger names.
JD
It's
Drake.
not, huh?
Was it the JD
Yeah.
Drake match?
Yeah, I had a JD Drake match. It was JD Drake. Uptown Andy Brown was also in that match, and Bud Heavy, and like, that match too, I was very hard on myself, and everybody's like, no, dude, like, it was good, and I'm just like, are you sure? Like, it's just, I just want, like, whenever I get that opportunity, I want to make sure like it's good, and like I
Yeah,
want to make sure like everybody sees like I'm not here just for a moment. Like, I want to be a mainstay and like start to jump on the old kingdom train now, because we're rolling on the conquest. So that's what I'm looking. That's what I want to do. So I'm very hard on myself just to make sure like I do perform the way that I feel I should be. So
yeah. And no matter what it is in life, we're always our biggest critics anyway.
oh yeah.
So, we could think that it was the worst match or the worst this or that of our life, and someone's like, "No, man, that what I saw, that was
Yeah.
good."
Yeah. It's hard too, because like they say, like, once you start training wrestling and then you go back and you like start watching matches, you see everything. And like, it's it's different, because like, to be able to say, all right, let me watch it in a fan's eye, like, I can't do that anymore. So I have to like find a way to like switch it off. I guess I haven't had the years in yet to be able to switch it off like I need to. But yeah, it's what they say is true. Like, I can't even watch as a fan. Like, I'll even see like the littlest things, like, oh, this happened, like, and it's tough, but it fans see it in a completely different light than we see it. So it's interesting to like just to hear and to work with and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, upcoming shows. What do you have coming up the pike that you can tell us about?
So upcoming shows this weekend, I'm at Real Pro Wrestling, which is in Fort Myers, Florida. It's a local promotion with myself and my faction Booyah Club. We're down here in November. I only have one thing in November so far, and that is EWA, which is in Maryland. I'm finally going close to home, which I'm really excited about.
Where in
And
Maryland?
Bel Air, Maryland.
I might have to come check you out
It's
at that
November.
show.
It's November 19th. They haven't. Yeah, it's
Friday.
a
It's the
Friday.
day before my wife's birthday. Yeah.
Ooh, I
Ooh.
understand that. And then I am on, I think it's, yeah, December 12th, I believe. I'm at Sold Out for a KO
Ah,
BK
nice,
Sold
nice.
Out. I'm there. And that's what I have so far. Oh, and also the 27th of November, I'm at Real Pro Wrestling again here in Florida. So
Cool.
that's what I have so far. I'm hoping to get more.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now for the future, for
Mhm.
your future, where do you see yourself down the line, like 3, 4, 5 years? Where do you want Merrick Donovan to be?
Uh, honestly, I just like I enjoy the conquest. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy just learning and working with others. So like I just want to be able to just I want to be able to pay it forward. I want to help out the younger wrestlers on the come up. I would love to just work with them where any way I could. I am I looking to be a household name? Not really. Household in a way of like I'm I'm understood. Because I'm like I want to okay to the best describe the way I would like to be. I would like to go to Shug D route. That's what I would like. I want to be the traveler. I one thing like I've talked about for the past 3 years, but COVID is I would love to do an excursion. I would love to like I've always enjoyed the New Japan Young Lion excursion route and just to like go to a new place and just develop yourself somewhere else and to come back brand new. Like I would love to just travel and do that and just see different cultures in different places. Um, and I just want to travel and just go all over the place and just have fun. I want to enjoy the ride that I create for myself. So that's my main goal.
Cool. And if you become a household name, you're not
Oh
gonna
no,
turn it down.
no, I'm not going to turn down the household name. If it comes to that, hey, I'm glad that I was able to do it.
Yeah,
Because there's some people that weren't able to do it. But like I said earlier, like I'm able to pay homage to somebody else. I'm able to bring them along with me on the ride. Just it's not just for me; it's for everybody. But I'm the forefront of the cause to conquest. So
yeah.
yeah.
So, if you could go back in time
hmm
and you could talk to your 10-year-old self,
Right.
what would you tell 10-year-old Merrick?
I'm trying to remember what grade I was at 10. I can't remember. Well, this is weird, but this is something I wish I could told myself is believe in credit. Credit's very real, get a credit card. But that's something I definitely would tell him to do. But
Build good credit. I think that's the
build
first
good
time we've had anybody say that,
no,
but I
I
love it.
build good credit. Just that is so important. It's I like I always say this, it's your adult GPA. So that's
Yeah,
yeah, that's something I wish I did. Um, but just believe in yourself and the voices in your head they come true. Not in a bad way. It's not bad voices, but like
mhm. Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
voices in your head they come true, and you can do any and everything. Like I said earlier, like it goes back to me as a 10-year-old, but um I don't do this just for myself. Like I'm doing this because, like I said, I'm from a small county in Virginia. Like it's small, and we don't have like even if you go on Wikipedia and you look up like the famous people from this place or that place, it doesn't even say. We have like 2, 3 people, and like they were there and they moved away as soon as they possibly could at like age 3 or 4.
Oh,
So I'm not looking to be like I'm not trying to be on that page, but I just want like kids and people to know like they can do anything they want to do if they just, try. And I just feel like a lot of the times we just get looked down on because we're such from such small, humble beginnings. And I'm trying to show them like we can do it. Like all we need if we just had that one person to be there for us and push us like these bigger schools or bigger places have, we can do the exact same thing, even better. And like that's one thing that I've learned is like because I'm a 3 sport athlete, because I've had to work and fight for everything, I am a better athlete for it.
yeah.
Like I hate to go all the way back, but like this with the school with training, we have this uh, thing called the Ring of Honor. It's an activity. It's like it's a group of exercises, and for the longest time there was a record, and I wasn't the first one to break it, but I broke the record, and like now I hold the record for it, and I feel as though it'll be a while before anybody else breaks it because of how fast it is. Because like I said, I just we have the athleticism. It's just no one's taking the time to look out for us. So yeah, just to tell myself like you can do anything, just work hard for it. And like if you have to like go out and find somebody to believe in you to like get there, go for it. So that's what I would tell my 10-year-old self.
And build good credit.
And build good credit. Definitely build good credit.
Okay, we're coming down to the end here.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw it to Val for a second. Val,
Okay.
were there any questions in chat tonight?
Hi, everybody. Yes, there were
Hey, Val.
questions. I caught 2 questions. If I missed any, my sincerest apologies. Drop them back in. I'm dumb, so it's my first time doing this. I did just want to let you know that because like you come on mine in my interviews and you do a lightning round, but I felt bad that Merrik wouldn't get a lightning round.
Oh.
So I have 10 questions that we can use for lightning round.
Oh man. Look at that. Okay.
I didn't want him to miss out on the most hated, despised segment.
Yes, the worst segment
interviews.
of any interview that we do is the lightning
Right?
round.
Let me stretch for this. Okay.
I know, Val, do I have to run the lightning round?
No.
Oh, Val, no.
No.
Okay.
No, we don't need that. Okay, are you ready, Merrik?
I'm ready.
Hell yeah. Which would you rather do? Wash dishes, mow the lawn, clean the bathroom, or vacuum the house?
Mow the lawn.
Would you rather win the lottery or work at the perfect job?
Work the perfect job.
What's the wrestling word you use most outside of wrestling?
Bump, I guess.
How many pillows do you sleep with?
2.
What kitchen appliance do you use the most?
Microwave.
Same. Have you ever had a surprise party that was an actual surprise?
No.
What is one thing that you'll never do again?
I have no idea because I enjoy everything that I do. Let's say trip. I will never trip again.
Fair enough. Who was your first concert?
I guess Meek Mills.
What song always gets you on the dance floor?
Goodness gracious. We'll just go with the Carlton dance song. It's not unusual.
And then last question for lightning round. How do you take your pancakes?
Regular fluffy.
Like, do you use maple syrup or do you like blueberries in them, or like how do you do it?
Well, butter and syrup. I'm a butter syrup person. I keep it regular.
Hell yeah. That was my questions.
Oh, yay! I did it.
Val, you're hired.
This is a special one time only. I just didn't want somebody to miss out on the lightning round because it's part of a hero's trial to do it. So
that it is.
So we did have a couple of questions from chat. I have Vic Sage. Where did Merrick's night theme come from? We kind of already touched on that quite a lot. But I did just want to, if there's anything that you've thought of that you wanted to add.
He said, where did my night name come from?
Your night theme come from?
Oh, yeah. Work and ancestry.com.
And then also from Vic Sage, of current wrestlers, who does Merrick think has the best gimmick?
Ooh. Charles Mason. He's one of my. I really enjoy his gimmick.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Oh, I have one more.
Okay.
And this is from CEO Matt the Mouth. I don't know if you know who that is, but he did ask, who is Merrick's favorite promoter?
Oh, my favorite promoter. I enjoy the guy from Action. I can't think of his name right now. He's pretty cool.
Is that
Very
the
down
guy
there.
that gets beat up by Angela Slane?
Oh,
Yes, that was the
Okay,
guy.
I know who that is now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, him. I've seen that twice actually. Like twice I've been there, and like he's always getting beat up. I don't know why. Hopefully he doesn't have any troubles. But yeah, he's really cool. Action guy.
Fair enough. Those are my only questions from chat.
Okay.
Christopher had one. I saw he put
I
it in
missed
at the end. You might have missed it. He wants to know what your favorite medieval movie is.
So this is a bad take. I don't really watch movies. So
That's okay.
if anything, it would have to be Black Knight with Martin Lawrence because that's the only one that I have seen. I did watch Nightfall. That was on Netflix, and there's another one that came on last year. Something about the night something or king something. It was really good. I just forgot what it was called. That was a really good one too. So
Christopher says, watch A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger.
everyone keeps telling me that, and I really want to. I just keep forgetting. So one day I'm definitely going to be able to sit down and watch it.
You should, because my introduction for you tonight was
Mhm.
partially themed off of one of the introductions in that movie.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely need to watch. One day I'll make sure to set an alarm to find and watch it.
I would recommend it. It's fun. Oh man, Vic's coming in. We got another question.
Okay.
And I remember seeing this as it came in, Vic. So thanks for rewriting it. Did you have to wear tape on the bridge of the nose on your glasses at Devon School?
No, I did not. Uh we stood away. We did not wear those. We stayed away from those. There we go. We stayed away from tape and glasses.
Okay, here's another question.
Okay.
Signed 8x10 asks, Merrick, if you had to leave human form and
Mhm.
live the rest of your days as any animal, what do you choose?
It might have to be a dog because 9 out of 10 times I know I'll get taken care of very well. So don't have to worry about much. And I get belly rubs. And who doesn't love belly rubs? So
That is a wise choice. My dog loves Billy
oh, yeah, yeah.
Rose. Okay, chat. Anything else in the ninth hour here? We're gonna give it going once, going twice, gone. Okay. So since Val did the lightning round,
Okay.
I won't put you through the agonizing pain of the wrestlers feud, which Christopher hates.
Okay.
And that's basically like Family Feud, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to hit up the last question
Okay.
here. But before we hit the
Okay.
last question, Chris says he does hate it. Merrick, where can everybody find you on the socials? Where can they buy your merch? Give everybody that info.
Okie dokie. So on Instagram and Twitter, it is capital S, capital K, capital M, Eric, capital D, Donovan. So SK Merrik Donovan on both Twitter and Instagram. On Facebook, you can find my wrestling page, which is Sir Knight Merrik Donovan. Also, don't see me. There's no C in Merrick. People,
Just K.
phones mess. phones mess up and like put the C in there. So it's Merrik, just IK. That's it. And as far as merch, you can look. I'm on brainbuster.com. Sir Knight Merrik Donovan. I have shirts, stickers, long sleeves, hoodies. I have a whole bunch of hats, beanies. I have a whole bunch of stuff. And it's like different. Like I have like four or five different designs. So like there's something for everybody there. So just take a look, take a gander, and let me know.
Nice. And we've had we've had 2 of your t-shirts rolling through. If you've seen them in the Twitch screen here, there's a
Mhm.
blue long sleeve, the yellow short sleeve. The yellow back is the same on the blue. So I showed you the front of the blue and the back of the yellow. So everybody
That's
go out there, make sure you follow Merrik, buy some merch from him. And now
uh-huh.
we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty, sir.
Okay.
And now we're at the last question. And this could make or break this entire interview.
Egad.
Exactly. So the question is, in the topic of Oreo cookies,
Okay.
and does Sir Knight Merrik Donovan prefer the single stuff
Okay.
original Oreo cookie
Okay.
or the enchanted double stuff
Oof.
Oreo cookie? Where doth thou allegiance lie?
Uh, my allegiance lies with double stuffed, more lamb for the slaughter. So yeah.
That is the correct answer.
I did it.
This entire
Huzzah.
podcast has been saved. Not that it wasn't ever bad, but that question solidified it. Double stuff. Let's see the double stuff emotes in the chat.
Hey,
Christopher says he
huzzah.
gets a t-shirt. You were getting a t-shirt anyway.
Yeah. 3 cheers.
Yes. So everybody, first off, Merrik, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it. I hope you had a good time.
I did.
I know with my dumbass technical difficulties in the beginning, I got one of the unmutes. I didn't get the other unmute. I'll get there at some point in time.
It happens, experience and practice, but I'm very appreciative of the time and just the platform, and it was a fun time. Like I'm very thankful for you just allowing me to be able to join y'all on today. So just thank you so much.
I'm glad. Everybody, go follow, go subscribe to his YouTube page, go buy some merch, go watch IWTV. Just go out there and watch Sir Knight Merrik Donovan.
Watch the conquest.
Merrik, we're gonna go raid somebody right now. Hang out here. We're gonna finish up the interview here. We'll talk to you in the green room in a second.
Okay.
And looks, Christopher says we're gonna raid Hoyo Damar. Chris, if you want to send us over there, go right ahead. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Remember, we'll be back tomorrow with Val in the stack and referee Sean Patrick O'Brien. Come join us. We'll see you then. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Visit iwtv.live today to watch these great action wrestling events, plus numerous other archive shows from Action and other great independent promotions. Use code ACTION for a free 5-day trial. Don't miss out. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Bald Monkeys. Watch us live on our new Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TheBaldMonkeys.